I feel like justice has been served. The fact that France are eliminated from this competition after the disgraceful performances that they've put on all throughout this Euros, justice has been served. My faith in football has been restored, honestly. Because if this team had gone on to win Euro 2024, what I'm about to say is going to sound crazy. In my opinion, forget about the names, forget about what they did at the last World Cup. This current iteration of France winning the Euros would have been one of the worst teams to ever win a Euro competition since I've been born. I'm talking like Greece was worse than them. Portugal 2016, we're getting there. That's in that ballpark, bro. If France had won this Euros, it would have been one of the worst teams to ever win this competition that I've seen. Honestly. So I'm very, very happy that they're out. Because genuinely, the way Didier Deschamps and his team set up to play football this tournament did not deserve to be rewarded with a trophy. That did not deserve to be rewarded with glory. And to be honest with you, look, France defensively were incredible. Honestly, all tournament, that was their strength. The back four, Theo, Koundé, Saliba, Upamecano, Mania in the back, and the midfield was just so organized. The defensively, France were incredible. But going forward, I'm sorry, you cannot set up an attack and create as little chances as France did throughout this tournament and play as poorly going forward as France did and be rewarded with the whole thing. Hell no, man. Hell no. And at least with Greece, they didn't have the talent. Greece in 2004 genuinely didn't have the talent. That's the way they had to play, and they got away with it. Portugal as well, too. They were built off their defensive backbone. They didn't really have the talent going forward, bar Cristiano. This France team shouldn't be playing the way it is, bro. And we'll talk about them soon, because there's individuals that I'm looking at after this game, after this tournament, and there are major question marks that I need addressed. Major ones, bro. We already know who they are. But we'll speak about the losers last. Because truthfully, one team needs to be spoken about first. Don't worry, we'll get to France, we'll get to everybody. We know who we're talking about. But I would be very disingenuous, and I'd be a hater if I didn't start talking about Spain. What's that Kendrick line recently? Don't tell a lie about me, and I won't tell no truths about you. Chat, you could accuse me of many things, but this Euros, oh my God, I've been cooking, bro. I've been cooking, man. I've been cooking. If you don't believe me, go on my Clips channel. Go on SDS. Go check out the preview. I gave y'all the blueprint on a few of these guys, man. And most recently, when I said that Lamine Yamal might already be a top 10 player in the world, I was met with laughs. I was met with people saying, no way, bro. This is too early to say that yet. Oh, is he even the best player in this position? Look, you might still disagree, but one thing you can't tell me is that it's an outrageous opinion. I'm sorry, chat. There's no way you can tell me that's an outrageous opinion. You might disagree, but you can't tell me that's an outrageous opinion, bro. Lamine Yamal is special. I haven't seen a talent like this, chat. Honestly, like a talent like this, a footballing talent. Chat, what I'm about to say might sound crazy, chat. I might not have seen a footballing talent like this since Neymar. I'm not saying the whole package, the whole overall attacking threat. I understand there's been some brilliant players post-Neymar. But footballing talent, pure natural ability, I think we're talking since Neymar, bro. Honestly. I think he might be the best talent that football has produced since Neymar. He's that good. He's that good, chat. And it's no longer a case of, oh yeah, he's really talented, but maybe he's... Chat, what we're watching right now is a supernatural talent. Honestly, it's a supernatural talent. What we're watching a 16-year-old do at this moment, at this current present day, is not normal. I really want you guys to rub your eyes at times when you're watching this kid and really ask yourself, should a 16-year-old be playing like this? The shit that we're seeing Lamine Yamal do at 16, I feel like I've repeated myself 4 times this entire tournament, man. I've made videos on Lamine Yamal so many times, but I feel like I have to keep repeating it, bro. I have to keep drilling it into your people's heads. This is a once-in-a-generation talent. And the goal that he scores today, you know what's so funny, right? I was watching with SDS earlier, chat, just now. And I think it was Mercel basically saying, has Yamal scored this tournament? Nah, he hasn't scored, but he's been amazing, right? The assists, the creativity, the dribbling, all that shit. But he hasn't scored. And then to produce that moment. And how fitting was it that it came against Rabiot, who was trying to talk his shit to a 16-year-old. A guy who's over a decade younger than you. To bury that in front of Rabiot's face like he did. Barcelona fans, let me know. Are there any Barca fans in the chat? I'm speaking directly to you guys here. You have the talent of the next decade. Hell, injuries aside, any bad luck aside, you have the talent of the next 2 decades. It don't matter who Real Madrid brings to that club. This kid, in terms of talent, trumps all of them, bro. Special player. He should have had an assist as well too, man. That cross, how can you have a trademark move at 16 years old? That cross that he plays to Fabian Ruiz, he's played it about 60 times in this tournament. And some of them, a guy has converted it. In fact, I think Fabian Ruiz converted one against Georgia. But that chance that Lamine Yamal consistently produces off that right-hand side, the in-swinging curler. It's cash money, bro. It's cash money. The dribbling, sensational. I don't understand how you can have this much poise and this much calmness and this much maturity and so much swagger as a 16-year-old. I feel like I'm repeating myself. How? The touch, so clean. The megs, the little pausa, the manipulation. And now these in-swinging curlers from 30 yards out. That's against one of the best goalkeepers in the world, by the way. Mike Maignan didn't even get a finger on that. It's not even like it almost just skimmed his... He couldn't get near that, bro. He couldn't get near that. And to be fair, France couldn't get near the kid all night. So Lamine Yamal, man. Look, we're going to talk about this guy further down the show. But we were watching today somebody that, me in particular, has been very vocal about how I believe he's the best player in the world. But Kylian Mbappe just got shown up by a 16-year-old today. I'm going to let that sink in. Bro, yo... My sport might actually be saved, chat. The last few days, look, we got almost 500 people in the chat, right? The last few days, chat, we've been watching like old advertisements and old highlights and old players, and I can't help but think like, damn, bro, no one can convince me that this sport is in a better place product-wise as it was a decade ago or 2 decades ago. But kids like Lamine Yamal, kids like Arda Güler, kids like Nico Williams, these guys are going to save this sport, bro. The 2000 gen is going to save football. Estevao, please. Save my sport, bro. Special generation of players, man. I made a whole video on it, right? For me, the so-called elite players at this tournament have, for the most part, failed to produce an elite level. But if anything, it's been the young guys who have taken Euro 2024 and made their name at this tournament. And no one more so than Lamine Yamal. Chat, is it outrageous for me to say that Lamine might be the player of the tournament? Facts, he's now top 3. He is. He's up there. He's MVP of the tournament. There's other guys. Don't get it twisted. But I said a candidate. He is a serious candidate to win player of the tournament at 16 years old. Tapped, man. I see a lot of people spamming Rodri. I mean, what kind of person would I be if I didn't speak about him? Wow. Chat, y'all know how I feel about Rodri, man. The best player in his position by a mile. And we saw him against Tchouaméni today, and there were levels. And I love Tchouaméni. I think Tchouaméni's a brilliant player. Didn't have his best game today, though. I saw the memes on Twitter. Tchouaméni did not have a great game today. Rodri, though, he's like a supercomputer. I think that's, in fact, what De La Fuente said. His ability to just create solutions at like the speed of light mid-game is crazy. Rodri showed levels. The best DM on the planet. For me, the ultimate midfielder. In my opinion, right now, is there a better midfielder on the planet than Rodri? I don't think so. In fact, chat, how many players, period, are better than Rodri? How many players in the world are better than Rodri? You guys know how I feel, right? I have massive attacker bias. You guys all know that, and I'm not afraid to hide it. You guys see my SDS list. First of all, I'll never include a goalkeeper. You could put a gun to my head, I'm not including a goalkeeper. Defenders, it's tough for me to do that too. And in my opinion, attackers and the attacking players and the difference makers are the ones who make this sport so beautiful. So, like it or not, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect analyst. I'm not 100% unbiased. I have a bias towards attacking players. But Rodri, man, is one of like the most faultless players I've ever seen. He has so little flaws to his game. Everything is just so well calculated. Every pass is designed to perfection. He just keeps it. For me, I think De La Fuente summed it up perfectly. He is a supercomputer. Just comes up with solutions on the move. And he comes up with big moments as well, too. Let's not act like Rodri in the last 2 years hasn't produced massive moments. But Rodri, this tournament, I don't want to keep repeating myself, chat. That's the last thing I want to be doing at these things, right? But out of all these so-called elite level players in world football, the ones that have actually lived up to the hype and performed at that level, Rodri is one of the only ones to do it. He has maintained that level from City into Euro 2024. Moving on from Rodri, who else can we even talk about in the Spain team, chat? Can I, you know what, chat? I want to give a shout out to somebody, in my opinion, that I think has been massively underrated this tournament. And I don't think anybody has spoken about him all tournament. That for me is Aymeric Laporte. I think Aymeric Laporte has been one of the best center backs at this tournament. And here's the thing, right? I didn't include him in my team in the tournament when I was doing it because there's been so many great center backs. I'm talking Pepe, I'm talking Calafiori, I'm talking Saliba, I'm talking, what's his name, Akanji. But Laporte has really gone under the radar for Spain. Honestly, we have all this hype for Kante, like, oh, Kante went to Saudi and he's still at this level. Let's be real, Kante for the last 3 games has not been all of that. Kante, now, the gas is starting to get a little too much in my opinion. But Laporte, when you want to talk about a player, why did he go to Saudi so early? If you believe in that, that's one of them, bro. Laporte could still play for 95% of the top clubs in Europe right now. The performances that he's been dropping for Spain at this Euros, sublime, man. We know about the ball playing, but defensively as well too. So good, man. And I think it was so fitting, right? I think Noodles makes a really good point here saying, remember when Didier Deschamps chose Rami over Laporte, and now he may have coached his last game against Laporte. I think it's so fitting that Laporte just dropped this masterclass against a team that wouldn't even give him a look. All the talk, in fact, about Laporte was, oh, is he the best in the locker room? I remember the talk about Laporte when he wasn't being selected for France, and the excuse was, oh, does Laporte would he be a distraction in the dressing room? Is he a good person to have around? Well, I'm sorry, you're putting Adrien Rabiot, who was the most toxic agent on the planet, and his mother. Laporte is not good for your dressing room. Laporte is a world-class center back, bro. This is one of the best center backs in the world. Don't get it twisted just because he went to Saudi, man, and just because he wasn't playing for City at the end. This is still a guy that could be playing for most of Europe's top teams. Top defender. And I think he's been criminally underrated this entire tournament. And I think Cucurella is another one. You said I haven't mentioned Cucurella this entire tournament. I put him in my team of the season, or team of the tournament. I went on SDS. I said he was in my team of the tournament. Cucurella, top, man. Top player. Or at least at the Zeros. Let's see if he can carry it on into the Premier League season with Chelsea. But at this tournament, Cucurella has been faultless. Chat, Cucurella has made little to no mistake on either side of the ball whatsoever. And this is coming from someone, you can look at the receipts. I've never been too big on Cucurella. This tournament, if you're hating on him, you might just be a hater, bro. There's nothing to complain about here, man. He's playing at a top level. Olmo. Oh, man. Again, I'm telling you, chat, I won't lie to you. You might not agree, but you have to hear my logic out here. I got so much shit for saying that Spain unlocked a different dynamic with Dani Olmo at the number 10 in the more advanced position. Pedri in general for me is a better player than Dani Olmo. But in the role that they were trying to deploy Pedri in, Dani Olmo has more quality. He has more attributes that suit that role. And we've seen it now. When Dani Olmo comes into the game, things change a bit. Maybe you lose a bit of the control. But in terms of actual final actions, Dani Olmo's a number 10. He's an attacking midfielder. Of course, he's going to give you more quality in that role than Pedri. And right now, if the tournament ended today, Dani Olmo would be the top scorer at Euro 2024. He'd win top scorer because he has 3 goals and 2 assists. And I'm sorry, it's not even just the goals, right? The quality of his actions right now, crazy, man. Crazy. Look at the goal that he scores today. 1 touch, 2 touch. He's sending Tchouameni. Tchouameni doesn't know where to look, bro. Dani Olmo has the ball on a string. He has the ball on a string. You look at the goal that he scored against Georgia. The way he opened up, feinting, it was like the cross touch, but in midair. Opening it up so that it gets to his right, cuts it right back onto his left, bottom corner. That kind of final third attacking quality, you can't teach that kind of stuff, bro. And it's hard to replicate in any just kind of player. Dani Olmo has got that kind of quality in abundance. And I've never been a huge fan of Dani Olmo, to be honest with you. Cam will tell you. Cam was talking about Dani Olmo. Oh, should United be in for him a few seasons ago? And I was saying, he's good, but is he like that level? I'm still not 100% sold that like he could come to a team like United and change life, but very, very good player. Dani Olmo is a very, very good player. Thank you, Xavi, for blessing football of Lamine Yamal. You need to speak on La Masia, man. That's who saved football, as they always do. Lamine Yamal, the best football, or La Masia, the best football academy in the sport, man. Who does Spain want in the final? Me personally, chat, I think Spain beats either of the teams in the final. I think they would beat England, and I think they would beat the Dutch. England, for me, right? If they are to make it to the final, England, from everything I've seen, they seem to be a team that just really want to stick in games very, very late. And then that individual match-winning quality will kind of see you out of situations. It's kind of like France, to be honest with you. Even though they're probably a little worse defensively, but maybe a bit more quality going forward, which is crazy to say, but I do think that. The issue is, though, this Spain team isn't going to give you until the 80th minute. Genuinely, Spain could get rid of England in like 30 minutes, in 45 minutes. I think Spain would take care of England. And as for the Dutch, too, I think they take care of the Dutch as well. I think Spain are winning this entire tournament, bro. I think Spain win the entire thing. No, of course, you got to be nervous for either one. I get you. Knockout football is unpredictable. But I don't see how England touches Spain, to be honest with you. I don't see how they get near them. One last shout out, by the way, to De La Fuente, honestly, because I think we talk about all these players all the time and the style Spain play. But De La Fuente, right? This is a guy, if I go and look up his coaching history, right? To be fair, he coached a lot of teams, right? He coached Bilbao on 2 separate occasions. But really, since 2013, you're looking at the Spanish version of Gareth Southgate in terms, but hear me out, in terms of like his coaching history. Starting off with the Spanish under-19s, then progressing with the Spanish under-21s, then progressing with the Spanish under-23s to finally now coaching the senior team. I'd actually be very interested in knowing in that time frame, has he kind of coached the majority of the Spanish core through the ranks? Has he kind of been the one overseeing this current Spanish generation that we're seeing? But one thing's for certain, man, he deserves absolutely massive credit, man. Because when we talk about international managers, right, we always have shit to say about Southgate. We always have shit to say about Deschamps. We always have shit to say about, I don't know, Ronald Koeman. We talk about Nagelsmann. But I feel like De La Fuente is really the one that consistently, we never hear about him, bro. We never hear praise about him. He just goes under the radar. But I'm sorry, the way he's taken over from Luis Enrique, whose team last few tournaments were very good in possession, but we're clearly missing an edge in the final third. This is the best Spanish team to watch, and It might be the best Spanish team on performances as well, too, since probably 2012. And I think De La Fuente deserves massive credit about that, man. I think he deserves massive credit about that. Fabrizio Romano tweets this. He, in fact, quotes Kylian Mbappe, who just so coincidentally happens to be our next topic of conversation. Kylian Mbappe says, in football, you're good or you're not good. I wasn't good. My Euro was a failure. I wanted to be European champion. I will now go on holiday. I will rest well. It will do me a lot of good, and then I will get ready to start a new life. There's a lot to do. Before you cook him, let's recognize the credit in the bank he has at tournaments. Taking everything into account. And I feel like, as a guy who has consistently put Kylian Mbappe in positions where I've called him the best player in the world, what did I say the other day, chat, when I was talking about England? My biggest gripe with football discourse these days is how everybody wants to have excuses for their favorite players because Stan Twitter has taken over football. I'm not going to be like that, bro. I'm not going to be like that. I like accountability too. Kylian Mbappe, man. I'm so disappointed. Honestly, that's all I can say. I'm so disappointed, man. And I'm disappointed for the last year. It's not even just this tournament, because I know this tournament we're going to hear about the mask and we're going to hear about the broken nose, and I'd hear that. I'd hear that if he was coming off this incredible Champions League campaign. But I'm seeing the same Kylian Mbappe and the same habits, and the same bad habits, I would say, that I've seen in the last year as well too at PSG. What's wrong with him, bro? Honestly, what's wrong with him? It almost seems like the spark is gone with Mbappe. That's the way I'm looking at him right now. The spark almost feels like it's gone from Kylian Mbappe. That feeling that you get, right? In the last 5-6 years, when you're watching PSG or France, and the ball gets to Kylian Mbappe, and you almost like raise forward in your seats a little bit, and the hairs on your arms kind of lift a little bit, and you have this anticipation that something special is going to happen because a special player is getting on the ball. Chat, I can't lie, I'm losing that feeling. I have to be very real here. I'm losing that feeling now. And I'm really confused as to why that's the case. Right? Like, here's the thing with Mbappe. He still has so much individual quality that when he's isolated in certain situations and when he's played passes in behind, he still has enough ability and enough talent to make moments happen. For example, the cross for the first goal. He finds himself isolated with Jesus Navas, puts in a brilliant cross to Kolo Muani, and he scores. He has those moments. But I don't know, man. I just find it so underwhelming that it's like we have to wait for a moment from Kylian Mbappe to actually be impressed with him these days. I watch players like Vinny. I watch players like Lamine Yamal. I watch players like Arda Güler, and I'm not saying any of them are at the same level right now as Mbappe. Like, the quality in the final third that Mbappe possesses, they don't contain it at the same regularity that he does. But they just offer so much more over 90 minutes, chat. Tell me I'm wrong. I'd love to know if I'm wrong, if you guys are seeing it from a different way. But they just offer so much more over the course of a 90-minute game. And you know what's so crazy, chat? It's not something I ever thought I would attribute to Mbappe. This is something I've always said about Erling Haaland, if anything. You guys know my gripe with Erling Haaland. He's not my kind of player. Just because he's a poacher, and don't get it twisted, he's the best poacher on the planet. The best goal scorer on the planet, bar none. But with Erling Haaland, you get the impression that, like, if the ball isn't really being serviced to him, he can go kind of missing during a game. But the thing with Erling Haaland is, as much as I complain about it, it's to be expected. He's not the most technical. He's an awkward kind of height for a player that you'd expect more overall impact from. He is really just an ultimate finisher. So you kind of expect that from Erling Haaland. From Kylian Mbappe, you shouldn't be expecting that. You should be expecting more. And that's what I do. That's why I consider him the best player in the world. He has everything, in my opinion, to be a consistent, horrendous player to play against from minute 1 to minute 90. But I'm sorry, today he played against Jesus Navas, chat, and later on he played against Nacho. Bar that one moment, the cross to Kolo Muani, did either of those two really look that bothered by Kylian Mbappe? Razal is saying stop being reactionary. We watched that in the Champions League as well too, Razal. Let's not get it twisted. Barcelona, he was poor over both of those legs. He was extremely poor. Against Dortmund, he was extremely poor. At this Euros, again, it's not even a case of like, oh, everything is going his way but the finish, or like, oh, he just can't score. His overall game is lacking, bro. Honestly, like, he's almost like just ghosting through games and hoping for these little moments to kind of cap off his performances. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what Ronaldo did once he hit like 30, 31, 32. Once he injured his knee and he had to adapt his game. That's what Cristiano Ronaldo had to do. The issue is, Ronaldo did that at like 31, 32, 33. He didn't do that at 26 years old, guys. At 26 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo was not relying on little moments during games to impact the flow of a game. He was still a 90-minute freak. He was still a player that every time he picked up the ball as a defender, you had to be scared shitless, bro. And I'm sorry, I think with Mbappe, you have to worry about that, right? Because it's Mbappe. In the back of your mind, you're worrying, okay, the pace in behind, if there's a ball in behind, he's going to get there. So there's the caution. But when he's getting on the ball, shit ain't happening, bro. This is reactionary, bro, and it didn't help. France were attacking on the right every time to stop Yamal having the ball. These are excuses, chat. And this is why, again, I have a massive issue with people not holding players accountable. All tournament we've been talking about, yeah, France defenses are great, but they don't have enough going forward. Those words should never be escaping your mouth when you have what's supposed to be the most dangerous, destructive attacking force on the planet. Those words should never be escaping your mouth when you have Kylian Mbappe playing attack for you, bro.